60 Minutes Rewind.
Regardless of who wins the upcoming election, one of the biggest winners thus far in the presidential campaign has been Jon Stewart. He seems to be everywhere. His daily show on Comedy Central has become must-see television for news junkies and politicians alike. Now he's kicked up some dust by going after the shouting matches that pass themselves off as cable news. In a boilerplate campaign of prefabricated speeches and talking points, Jon Stewart is never on message. And when things get too serious, he's America's favorite political commentator. What's your favorite moment of the campaign so far?
Just every moment with Dick Cheney has been my favorite. Here's what I wonder about Dick Cheney, and the reason that maybe they keep him only in loyalty oath audiences is if he becomes angry, I do believe he turns into the Hulk. And so they try and keep people from questioning him because he'll just, was it that? The shirt rips and suddenly he has hair. So he's been my favorite because he just goes out there to a room full of supporters and says, you know, we're all gonna die, right? You're gonna die unless I'm in charge.
What about Kerry?
Kerry is, I think if he focuses, I think if he really, really focuses, he can defeat Nixon and I think have our troops out of Nam by 74. He is what Kennedy has wrought. John Kennedy, not Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy has wrought a whole other thing that has to do with not wearing pants and running around Palm Beach. He's Kennedy if you squint. You know, if you're not really paying that close attention. Sort of profiles in courage, profiles in might have been courage, profiles, you know what I'm saying?
Are you an equal opportunity skewer?
We don't consider ourselves equal opportunity anythings because that's not, you know, that's the beauty of fake journalism. We don't have to, we travel in fake ethics.
4 nights a week, Jon Stewart presides over a comedy show that masquerades as journalism, deconstructing the day's events and the pretenses of television news by repackaging reality as a parade of the absurd.
Just get to it!
This is a global effort. We're facing a group of folks who have such hatred in their heart.
Group of folks? We're facing a group of folks? A group of folks is what you run into at the Olive Garden. With the salad and the breadsticks and the soup.
You know, George Bush thought he could play dress-up on an aircraft carrier. And he thought he could stand up there in front of a big sign that said, "Mission accomplished."
And as I stand here in my borrowed work jacket, in front of a sign that says, "The real deal," I say to you, there is no irony in these statements.
This summer, Stewart unleashed his team of crack reporters at the Democratic and Republican conventions. Stephen Colbert, Samantha Bee, Ed Helms, and Rob Corddry are all talented young comics and students of the tactics and postures of television news.
Can you top me up here?
Take this interview at the Republican convention in New York with a delegate from Montana.
We're going to have a little time during the next few days, and we plan to tour your beautiful city.
Have you had your picture taken with a black person yet?
Well, I don't think so, but I wouldn't mind doing it.
That's something you'd be willing to try?
Why, certainly.
There's plenty of them.
I know.
Do you have any of them in Montana?
We don't, you know? We don't have any. In fact, I guess our kids were pretty old before they saw one.
Then, from the podium of Madison Square Garden, there was Lynn Cheney's introduction of her husband, the vice president.
While most of the boys I knew saw the charm of driving back and forth time and again between the two A&W root beer stands in our small town, Dick did not. And when practically everybody in Casper, Wyoming started doing the twist, I can tell you Dick did not.
And when all those young men were forced to go to Vietnam,
Dick did not.
And while we're on the subject of candidate spouses, there was this, right after John Kerry's primary victory in Arizona.
Kerry did seem uncharacteristically demonstrative after his win. Here he is giving one of his volunteers a big hug. Thank you so much. Embracing fellow Senator Ted Kennedy. And, of course, giving his wife, Teresa, a an accidental running into.
With material like that, The Daily Show's ratings are up 22% over last year. They even scored a journalistic coup when Senator John Edwards chose The Daily Show to make a major announcement.
Well, I am on your show to announce that I am a candidate for President of the United States.
And I guess I should probably tell you now, we're a fake show.
So I want you to know that this may not count.
I saw John Edwards declaring his candidacy on your show.
Yes. And by the way, very effective move. I thought.
For him?
Oh, wait, he's not the nominee. Oh, yeah, no, it was bad then. Yeah, that didn't work. He did it because he made a promise to us that he would, and he kept it. I mean, he doesn't understand this system at all. I personally had forgotten that he told me that because I'm so not listening to the guests when they're talking usually. I'm usually thinking about, you know,
Next question.
Love a cappuccino. But it was fun. It was fun for us. But we have a difficult time when we march up to that line of respectability.
Hey, you looked a little uncomfortable.
Well, I think access doesn't work for us. And by the way, it hasn't been working for the regular media either.
Stewart expects to vote for John Kerry, but says that's not an endorsement. Just about every significant political figure has come on the show hoping to reach its young audience. The one notable exception, President Bush.
Do you think he'll come on? Hold on. No, I don't think he'll come on.
Why?
He's busy running the country.
But you'd like to have him on.
The president? Probably not. It'd be very uncomfortable.
All the Secret Service people around.
It's not even so much the drug dogs, because we're pretty good about hiding everything. What I would like to say to him, I feel like I wouldn't be able to, because he's the president. And the respect that I have for the office and for the person holding it, whoever it is, would be confining.
But there are few constraints when it comes to crafting the comedy sketches, and almost everything is fair game.
Do you do things on a rock?
On a rock? Mm-hmm. Yes, sure. We call it Mesopotamia.
How are you? Nice to see you.
It's the, I think, defining issue of the day.
Here in Najaf, the violence is just at a simmer, whereas here in Wazit in southern Al-Anbar, it's more of a quiet rage, which over here, John, is simply rage that's run out of ammunition. All across Iraq, there's only sporadic violence because they're almost out of people.
Anything you feel like you can't do?
I can't sing. Never been able to sing. I can't do voices very well. Every impression I do sounds the same. Can't dunk. Man, would I give anything to dunk.
I was talking about material.
I try not to do the unfunny stuff. That's the stuff I try not to do, but if you've seen the show, you see, it gets in.
The story will continue after this.
Hello. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Stewart and his Daily Show staff have moved from fake news into fake history.
There you go, sir. Thank you very much.
America,
hey,
the book, a citizen's guide to democracy in action. It's a twisted take on a high school civics book with lessons on things like the 5 interesting moments in Senate history and exercises like dressing the Supreme Court. That one got it banned from Walmart.
Did you write it all by yourself?
Here's the thing. I'm more of a delegator. I like to come in, have half a melon, sit down, go through the papers. They'll bring me the stuff, I'll edit. No, everybody worked unbelievably hard on it.
Do you get all the money, or do they get part of the money?
Yeah. Well, they don't, when you say the money, we work here on a barter system. So what they get are beads, which they can turn in for drinks. It's a lot like Club Med.
And there'll be lots of beads to go around. The book is currently #1 on the New York Times bestseller list.
Thank you.
And Stewart Stark continues to rise ever higher.
Oh, that one.
With 2 Emmy Awards this year.
Perfect. That's good.
Even the cover of Rolling Stone.
Certainly you've become a much bigger deal.
Oh, I'm 6'2". 6'2", 185. We're certainly getting more attention, that's for sure.
The Television Critics Association gave you its award for Best News and Information Program this year?
We'd always sworn we're taking 60 Minutes down. You, Frontline, all you guys, you're meat. I think in some respects they were punking you, as opposed to praising us.
Stewart did some punking himself after 60 Minutes Wednesday admitted it could not authenticate documents used in a report on President Bush's National Guard service.
CBS issued a statement defending its reporting, but vowing to, quote, make every effort to resolve the contradictions and answer the unanswered questions about the documents. Among those unanswered questions, why the didn't you check them before you broadcast it?
I can't believe that the National Guard memo scandal is the only scandal in 4 years that has gotten elevated to the status of having a gate attached to it. Rathergate. For God's sakes, we launched a war based on forged documents. That doesn't get a gate. How do you not get a gate out of that? Dick Cheney's old company does business with Iran in an offshore Cayman Islands group. No gate. Nothing.
Do not listen to this guy or this guy.
While Stewart makes his living doing fake news on Comedy Central, which is owned by the same company that owns CBS News, he has real opinions about real news, especially the 24-hour cable variety, which he thinks produces more heat than light.
It is what has become rewarded in political discourse is the extremity of viewpoint, because people like the conflict. Conflict, baby, it sells. Crossfire, hardball, shut up, you shut up.
So when Stewart was invited to appear on CNN's Crossfire earlier this month, he decided to withhold his humor, express those opinions, and provoke a little conflict of his own.
You have a responsibility to the public discourse, and you
need to get
fail
a job at a journalism
miserably.
school, I think.
You need to go to one. The thing that I want to say is, when you have people on for just knee-jerk, reactionary talk...
Wait, I thought you were going to be funny. Come on, be funny.
No, I'm not going to be your monkey.
Some saw it as a sign that Stewart may be taking himself too seriously. Others congratulated him for speaking his mind. In any event, when it comes to the media, no one can accuse him of playing favorites.
Fox has the phrase fair and balanced, and journalists wring their hands about that. How can they say those they say fair and balanced, but they're not? I watch it, it's not. It makes me so mad. Well, CNN says you can depend on CNN. Guess what? I watch CNN. No, you can't. I watch it all the time. So your slogan's just as misleading as theirs.
We don't have a slogan.
You actually do.
What is it?
May cause drowsiness.